Good. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks. Just how's the week been so far? And are you looking forward to tomorrow?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good so far. It's roasting over here. I think a few of us are struggling a bit. There's a few lads that haven't trained in a while. I don't think so. The heat's getting to them, but no, training's been good so far. We had a couple of tough days. First 2 days we were here, and it's kind of got lighter, and we're kind of more focused on the tactics and the what we're gonna do against Croatia tomorrow. So, no, it's been a good week so far.
Just on your season there in England, how did you find the loan spell at Bolton? Did you find it challenging, or was it a big learning experience for yourself?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think I took a lot from it. I went in January, so it's not easy kind of going middle of the season. But no, it started off well. Like we had a good run of form, and I think we were second or third in February and March, and kind of dropped off from then, which wasn't ideal. 'Cause we kind of had expectations to go up, and the fans had expectations of us to go up. So didn't pan out the way we wanted it. But for me, I think it was well needed. Like I think the last couple of years I've been trying to get out on loan and trying to get game time, but it hasn't quite happened. But no, I think it was really good for me. I learned a lot in the 6 months I was there, and yeah, enjoyed it.
You were playing many positions when you were there. Either it was a back four or back three. You were in left back, left wing back, or left centre half. How did you find adapting to different roles and like going week by week? You playing a different position, or was it something you could adapt to well?
Yeah, no, it was different, like because the manager he doesn't really have a set formation or set style of play, but yeah, we changed every week. Like as you said, left wing back, centre back, or left back. So we could have won one week and then we changed just depending on the opposition. And I could be playing nearly as a left winger one game, but I think that was all really good for me because I was it was a lot new stuff to me as well. So I wasn't used to some of the stuff I would have done at Newcastle, but I think that was good for me to learn how to play other positions and play a different style of football as well.
And do you have a favorite position, or is it just as long as you're on the pitch, you don't care?
Probably left centre back. I think everyone says they'd rather play anywhere, but probably left centre back if I'm being honest, or left back. I think there's too much running in left wing back for me to be honest. I don't really like to running that much, but no, if as long as I'm playing, I don't really mind. But probably centre back, I would
And
say.
just finally, what is next season the plan? Back pre-season with Newcastle first team, and then go from there, possibly a loan move again. Is that what the situation is?
I'm not too sure to be honest. I had to go back to Newcastle training for the last few weeks when the loan ended, and I'll probably do pre-season. I'll do pre-season with them, and then I'm not sure what will happen after that. Hopefully, if I do well in pre-season, I can stay around and hopefully play there next year. But as long as I'm playing, I don't really mind where I'll be. If I have a better chance of playing on loan, then I'd rather go on loan. But it's up to the club at the end of the day, whatever suits them.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Alex.
No worries.
Cheers, Connor. Anybody else got anything for the live section?
Yeah, I'll jump in there if that's all right. Hi, Alex. How are you, boy?
Oh yeah.
All good. You're speaking there on kind of pointing for a loan move with a couple of years away from Newcastle. When you finally got that, and now having had the kind of 15 games of senior football that you probably hadn't had since your time in the League of Ireland, do you feel that it's brought you on as a player, even though it was just a kind of a shorter spell?
Yeah, definitely. Like I always said, once I moved over, I kind of wanted to stay in men's football as soon as I came to England because I think it's not a bad thing going from men's football to academy football, but it's a big change. Like I think the younger you start playing men's football, the better. So I think the last 2 years, as I said, I was trying to get out, but I think injuries and being around the first team and stuff kind of stopped me. But no, it definitely helped me. Like I learned so much in League One. It's so different to playing 21s football. Like just the physicality and the intensity of the game is so much higher. So yeah, it's definitely brought me on, and I learned a lot from the short spell I had there.
Yeah, and I know it's a couple of years since you've been in the League of Ireland, but how does the kind of grind of week to week football in League One compared to the League of Ireland?
I think I think that it's probably more intense in League One. Like you're playing nearly two games every week and maybe three. Like it's always Saturday, Tuesday, and then you might have another game if it's Friday, Monday, and then the next weekend. So I think it's just the intensity of the games. Like it's non-stop. And you have to be like you have to recover and be so ready at all times in the games because they're so intense at times. Like you have to be fully concentrated. So I'd say that like the intensity is probably higher. I don't think there's too much difference in terms of the quality, to be honest. The League of Ireland is still up there with it, but I'd say the intensity, yeah.
Yeah. That run of games that you've had now at senior level, it must give you a bit of momentum coming into this window. It's probably a time it's a young group, a lot of teenagers in it, and you're probably one of the more senior fellas in the group now. Do you feel a need to kind of become a real backbone of this team, kind of, and become a leader on and off the pitch?
Yeah, as you said, it's a very new group. I think there's
Mm.
only four or five of us that have been here from last year and kind of all the way through the camps. There's not too many that you'd kind of be familiar with, but no, definitely I feel like I'm one of the more senior lads in it because, as you said, there's a lot of younger lads. Some lads 2 years younger and 3 years younger even. So it's important to just kind of just set the standards with the rest of the lads that have been around it for a while. So. Yeah, I'm not really used to having a senior role, too much of a senior role, but it's another good experience.
Yeah.
All right, lads. If that's for the live section.
How you going?
So, John, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. You mentioned there about becoming a leader in the group, and I suppose the last couple of years you would have been, a younger player surrounded by more experienced players from even in the League of Ireland to the UK. Now, do you really feel like you can become that leader in the group for Jim ahead of this new campaign?
Yeah, definitely. I think Jim said it to me as well. Like he sees me as one of the senior lads in the group. So as you said, I went into Galway young, so I was kind of learning off the lads there, and even at Newcastle and then Bolton, you kind of pick things up off the seniors there and the experience they can kind of give you. So now I'm just trying to bring that in. I think it's an important thing for any team to have a few leaders in it. So yeah, I'll try my best anyway to show 'em.
And have you always kind of seen yourself in that role, even the last couple of years, and things off the pitch, how you carry yourself, talking to younger players? Have you always kind of had that in the back of your head?
Yeah, definitely. I think when you go in like to the first team early, you can't really hide. You have to kind of make your presence known and just not be a pushover. So no, definitely I'd really want to become a leader in this group, and I think it helps me as well if I'm a leader and I'm talking and I'm vocal on the pitch as well. So no, it's just beneficial for everyone really if we have more leaders in the group. So I'll try my best.
Especially with a lot of new players on this side. You're one of the only few that got a couple of caps in the last campaign with a lot of newer players in this squad. It's even more important to bed them in because after this month, it's September next.
Yeah, I know it's a very important camp like this. As you said, there's a lot of new lads like so. It's just kind of making them feel as comfortable as they can early on in the camp because it's our last really warm up games before the actual qualifier starts. So yeah, it's important just to make everyone feel welcome and kind of just show them the ropes because it's obviously their first time and stuff. And if they feel comfortable, they're obviously going to play better football for us. So it's going to help us all really.
Last cheers, Alex. See you out there. Thanks.
Cheers, Sean.
Yeah, Harry, Alex. Just you talk about the difference since you've left League of Ireland, how you've grown, but also in this current camp, there's a few lads come in from the League of Ireland, Colin O'Sullivan, Warren, etc. What's it been like being around those lads, and and training with them for this camp?
Yeah, no, it's been good. You can see they're at a high standard as well because they're obviously fresh coming from the middle of the season. Like they haven't had a break or anything. They're probably the fittest lads in here at the moment, the League of Ireland lads. So no, they're all at a good level, and I think it's good to kind of chat to them about like what the league's like now. And they're obviously saying how much it's improved and stuff. And Cahill at Cork, they're back in the Premier Division. So. No, it's good to always hear the lads, and they're playing first team football there, so they're obviously at a good level. So should be good for the team to have them boys in.
No, a lot. has been said about Cole in particular. The what he's doing at Cork at the moment for at such a young age. He's been over in at Crystal Palace there last month, and being linked with all sorts of different clubs. What's it been like training with him up close and personal? What's he like as a talent?
Yeah, you can tell straight away that he's a good player. Like he's very sharp technically. He's not something you'd really associate with most Irish footballer. He's kind of a more of a Spanish footballer, the way he moves and stuff. So, no, you can tell straight away he's a good talent, and I'm sure he'll go on to do good things in England wherever he goes.
And one last one from me. You talked about you growing into a senior figure in this squad. Um, after the season you've had with Bolton playing at a senior level, um, have you noticed yourself growing as a person as you've grown as a footballer playing consistently?
Yeah, definitely. We had a loans meeting after the loan ended with the Newcastle lads back there, and that was kind of the most important thing they were kind of saying is because when you go in January, especially, you have to kind of bed in as soon as possible, and you kind of have to you can't shy away from anything in the dressing room. You have to kind of make yourself known, and you have to be a leader in the dressing room as well, especially when you're playing. So. You have to make friends and socialize and get to know the lads straight away. So it's tough going in, but once you're comfortable and once you earn the respect of the lads in the dressing room becomes a lot easier. So I think the quicker you kind of get to know everybody and just be a good person around the place is very important and goes a long way.
Conor, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good.
Good,
Are
good.
are you excited for tomorrow? Have you got a
Yeah.
fully fit squad? Or have you got a
Um,
fully fit squad?
yeah, yeah, no, we're good to go. Excited for tomorrow. It's going to be a real challenge um for the players. Some of the staff went out there the other day. Croatia played Qatar in a friendly. And that look, they won comfortably enough, Croatia, but they're a good team, so it's going to be a real challenge. But we knew that coming in, and anyway, with the work we've done on Croatia, they're a top side. They're really good. So that's what we want. These are the games you want to play in because
Yeah.
in those difficult moments as a team, you learn so much about the players, and what they need to do to get
Yeah.
better as an individual, and what input we need to put in terms of making the group a better team. So yeah, looking forward to it. Extremely hot here. Um, you certainly wouldn't get away with that hoodie over here, because it's been 30 degrees at times here. So it's been exceptionally hot. But look, looking forward to it.
Yeah. What is it you want to learn from these two games? Do you want to implement your style, or is it getting lads embedded into the group more, or is it just getting two wins?
I know. Look, I think it's performance at this stage. You're looking for performance. You're looking at players still because there's been new arrivals in this group. Because we've had a few players withdrawn, so it's a great chance to get to meet them and see them up close and personal. And look, being involved in an international team, you have such a short space of time with the players that it also gives us an opportunity of who can take on information in that limited space of time, because that's what international is. It's getting together a group of players, trying to implement your philosophy and style upon them, and just see who can take the information on board. As well as that, it's an opportunity for the other players who have been in, March and beyond, November, March, and now gives them an opportunity to sort of get more experience with the 21s, because again, look, it's something that we're demanding from the group is developing leaders here, because it is a very young group. But so as opposed to two results, yeah, it's those type of things that, yeah, you're gelling together in a new group. You get to player ID, a lot more of the group that's eligible to play this year. And, it gives players another opportunity to gain a cap and get that experience that's needed, that will be needed for us when the campaign starts in September.
And yeah, it's a big summer coming up for a lot of your lads who will be probably looking to really get out and loan. And there was quite a few lads like Mark O'Mahony, Sam Curtis, Alex Murphy, Joe Bryan, Whitmarsh, who had like mixed loan spells in the EFL last season. Would it be something that you would advise, or you'd like players maybe to go to the more developmental leagues on a loan or a transfer over the summer, that they can more the clubs that want to develop them as an individual rather than just winning games by any means necessary? Because of how much of a slog the EFL can be on young lads.
Yeah, look, I think I've said it before that in the EFL, there's so many different lenses you can put on the situation. So yeah, if you're playing with an EFL team, you've got so many games, Saturday, Tuesday, that you will get first team experience. And I think it's important to play first team. But it's also, what environment are you in? Are you in an environment where your head coach is really about individual development as opposed to that performance space, as I said before. But you also have to understand that, managers are judged on results. So, and that can impede with a player's development. We don't sort of say, look, you need to get out on loan. We certainly don't do that, because I think you've got players who go over to England still need to find their way in developmental teams. Whether it's Brighton, for example, Manchester United, Liverpool, whoever it is. Because there is a great deal of learning there. But I think when you go to a first team, that would suit your profile as a player. I think that would be huge, and to make it an even a better package if you went to a head coach that understands player development, and that'd be an unbelievable experience for our players. What we don't want is one of our young players going to a team, and it's happened recently, where they go to a championship club and they don't get a look in, and they go back to their parent club, and yes, it's a learning experience for the player at that particular time, but it is, detrimental to the player's confidence at that particular time. And look, we've witnessed it with players. So there's a lot of moving parts to it. There's no one size that fits all. I do know that first time loans can be challenging, where, the players that you mentioned there, some of them had decent enough starts, but injuries or what have you that they picked up, they sort of got limited game time towards the end of the season. But yeah, it is a big time of the season. You'd like to see certain players, I won't name them, but there is certain players you'd like to see, what, you're probably ripe to play first team football. But again, as I said, it needs to be the right team, and preferably under a head coach who cares about development. But I understand the situation with head coaches nowadays. It's, they're only a few defeats away from being under serious pressure.
Yeah, all right. Thank you very much, Jim, and
Cheers,
best of
Conor.
luck tomorrow.
Take care. Thank you.
Hi, Shane.
Hi Jim, how are you?
Shane, how are you? You okay?
Good, good, all good, all good. Jim, a couple of late changes to the squad. Mason and Jack Morehouse pulling out through injury. Yeah, again, a good opportunity then for the likes of Cian Dillon, Ed McJanet to get back in. Cian's first involvement, obviously, but tough for the two lads. Built a bit of momentum recently. Mason flying it in the league. Jack Morehouse going on tour with United. Tough for them to kind of not be able to build on that.
Yeah. I was looking forward to seeing the guys again. Jack's he's a fantastic personality. He's a really good player, and for him to go, you know, on a end of season tour with United was a great experience for him. He's highly thought of at Manchester United, so we knew he was going to play minutes over there. And then you start weighing it up, saying, okay, he's playing over in the Far East. you know. So, but look, he unfortunately picked up a knock, and that put that to bed. It was disappointing, but look, I'll give Jack a call. Certainly post camp, and we'll have another conversation. But look, he's a fine kid, and it would have been great for him to come over again and get that what I spoke about earlier on, a little bit more experience with the group. Mason's been playing a lot of football, and unfortunately he picked up a knock, and he missed the last game for Pats just before the window. And I think, as far as I know, we'd be out for a couple more games. But yeah, it's a it's disappointing to lose Mason too. But as that saying goes, one door shuts for two lads and opens up for two others that have been really good. Keane Dillon's come in; he's been excellent in training. Ed McJannet, Ed McJannet, he just comes in, he works hard. He's he's an excellent midfielder, and we've now sort of got a lot of competition in those areas, and for Ed to come in, he's just played second leg in a playoff game there last week, so he's up to speed fitness wise. Keen, a little bit different, but I think the measure of the boy was that he had a holiday organised in Greece with his new teammates at QPR, and he said no chance he'll miss out with the 21s, and that's the type of personality you need in your group. That's the type of personality that will help us have a successful campaign. And with Ed called in, with Jack Morehouse picking up a knock. Ed was straight away, yeah, I want to come in. So two fantastic personalities who've come in, and look, we know them too well. They're two good lads, and they'll get caps here. Two caps, a little bit more experience, and an opportunity to build their own profile.
Mhm. You kind of spoke of kind of building leadership within a group that contains almost 10 I think there's 9 teenagers in it, or thereabouts. Who do you kind of look to um, regards leadership on the pitch? I spoke to Alex there previously, and he's kind of one of the older guys, and he hasn't been before, I suppose, before. But who do you kind of look to in terms of these guys can step up and become leaders within a young group?
Yeah, look, it's an area where we're at now where, you know, they've been quiet. It is a relatively quiet group when they came in November, and they played March and now June. But I think you can see they're getting a little bit more comfortable with each other, and you're now starting to see leaders emerge. I won't say who, but there's all different types of leaders. There's leaders on the training pitch, there's leaders in team meetings, there's leaders in around hotels. So, you're just still weighing up, okay, who could be part of our potential leadership group,
Mhm.
and we haven't made any decision on that yet. I would have said that probably with the group that we had in the last campaign, we were probably there or thereabouts with a lot of leaders. But at this point in time, you could see them emerge, and it's been a little bit of a slower process. But that's not a slant on anybody. They're as I said to you, the example with Keane Dillon dropping a holiday to Greece to come and play is, an example of somebody. It's his first camp, what it means to him to play. And I've no doubt I could have a story for each of the 23 other players that are in this camp, and they could be on holiday, but
Mhm.
no, they chose to come into camp. Some fitter than others, obviously, because of the dates and what have you, but they're all desperate to play. They've come in, and it's been um, it's been tough, like with the heat. Uh,
Mhm.
Trying to get in the information to the players has been a challenge, but the staff here are outstanding in getting the message, getting the delivery to the players. So hopefully, over the next few days, we'll see a little bit more with regards those leadership qualities coming out in players in games where certainly against the likes of Croatia, who are the top nation. where they're going to have spells where they'll own the game. So we'd like to see somebody emerge from the group.
Hmm. There's a massive cohort of current League of Ireland or else former League of Ireland academy structure players that have existed within those in your squad. The latest three of those are Cahill, of course, Corey, Warren. How have the three lads adapted to stepping up to this level, albeit with the heat that they have to deal with in training? How have they found the last couple of days?
Yeah, but they've been great. They really have. It's been no issue to them. They haven't looked out of place, and I think what they've said without them knowing is that, I belong here. The three lads have, in their own ways, have stood out in training. Cahill, I think I've said it to Cahill. I had a conversation with Cahill saying that last year when he was playing in the first division, I thought he was outstanding. And then when they got promoted, I said, great. He has that taste now of being in a league winning team. So now it's going to be a serious challenge at Cork City, knowing the resources that they have with regards, budgets and what have you. Like, are they going to be at the top end of the table? No. But so it was going to be a challenge for him. And it was one that I was certainly excited to see, and he's grabbed it with both hands. He's been excellent. He really has. At Cork, he's exciting crowds. The way he plays, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play for us in this window. Corey O'Sullivan, somebody so young, playing with the top team in the league, and looking comfortable. He's been he's been excellent, and I've seen him from the stands playing, but it's when you get up close to him and you're having a conversation, you do realize how young he is, but he certainly plays with a maturity and a know-how that merits his inclusion. And Warren's been having a great year. He knows that he's at a stage that will help him develop even more. And what I love about him is his hunger to become a better player. He's worked tirelessly, and whatever we put on in training, he just gets on with it, and he loves his football, and it's been a great season for him so far. So the lads have represented the league unbelievably well, but I knew that. Um, they're they're all great lads who play in our league and who have played in the league before. And as I said to you, you know, June has always been a challenging window, and for weaker individuals who see all their teammates going away on holiday, the easy probably thing for a young player to do is say, okay, yeah, I'll go on holiday and I'll miss the trip. But what we've learned already is that these lads want to progress in their career, and they're the type of people we want to work with the 21s.
Perfect. Thanks, William. Jim, that's all from me.
Shane, take care.
Cheers.
Sean, I might bring you in there because it looks like you're about to get on a plane.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Sean, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Just two for me before I hop on this plane. Just firstly, is there any differences, similarities between the squad and the camp from this time last year to
Yeah, it's a great question.
a new squad? And just secondly, could we see a cap for Jacob Devaney, possibly?
Yeah, okay. First of all, there's a huge difference between this camp and the last year's camp because we were in the midst of the campaign last year. So we had players who were comfortable with the 21s, and we had we did have leaders in that group at this time last year because of the experience that we had with them up to last June. And because we were right in the mix last year, everybody was on it from the very first minute we got together. This year it's a young group, and it's always the same with the young group. They're enthusiastic, they all want to impress, they're finding their way, with international football with the 21s program. So, there is a huge difference. But look, I'm as excited with this group that's coming as I was with the last group too. So, um, there is a big difference. And to answer your second question with Jacob, Jacob's come in and again he's trained well. He had to step out for one of our sessions. It was just to modify his load, but yeah, he'll get a cap. He'll get a cap for us, and we're looking to cap everybody here and give them that experience over here in Croatia and see can they transmit the information that was given to them on the pitch, whether it's Friday, tomorrow against Croatia, or next Tuesday against Qatar's 23s.
But just Jacob, he's been getting a lot of experience with United. He's someone you're very excited about, of course.
Sorry, Sean, can you repeat that, please?
So Jacob, someone you're very excited about, obviously doing very well at United.
Yeah, Jacob, he's done very well. We're looking forward to work on him, and I think the beauty with him, he can play as that holding midfielder, and he can play as a fullback too, which is always a string to a player's bow in international football. But he's come in and again another player who hasn't looked out of place. And he's a fantastic personality, and he's a credit to his family because he's come in and it could have been quite daunting for him to come into a 21s camp, but he's come in and he's been excellent. He really has. So um, he's he's definitely looking forward to putting on the green jersey, and whether that's tomorrow or Qatar, but he'd be definitely playing, definitely.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. See you out there.
Sean,
Thanks.
Sean, take care. See you then.
Andrew, anything for you, bud?
Yeah, just a couple of quick ones for me. How are you, Jim? What's the crack?
Andrew, how are you?
Not bad. You talked about Carl O'Sullivan, and there's been so much hype and excitement around him. Tim Clancy suggesting that if Mason Mealy is worth 2 million, he's worth 10. Shawnee Maguire saying he's the best teenager in League of Ireland. What have you made of how he has, for such a young lad, reacted to that sort of hype and anticipation that's surrounding him?
He's been fine. He's a very level-headed chap, which is hugely important with all that type of noise that goes on when somebody's playing well. Because look, I've seen it with players. I've been in the game a long time where players would lose the run of themselves with all that external stuff coming from social media or from other people around the game. And I think he's a well-balanced individual. But it's just funny to think, as I said already, when he done exceptionally well in the first division, I was going, right, here's the test now for him. I hope it goes well. And he's, as I said, he's been excellent in our top league, and just it was a real pity he missed out with the 19s in the last international window through injury. But look, he's played some big games for Cork, and he's been excellent. He really has. So I think his backgrounds would suggest that he'll just take it in a stride. He works exceptionally hard on the training ground. There's no airs or graces about him. And he actually had a
And last one for me.
his brother played with Aston Villa, so there's I think he was there for a year, he was saying, and so there's that, the family have experienced somebody probably at that level before that goes away to England and tries to forge a career in the game. But look, he comes from a good stock, so that's hugely important.
Mm. Sorry if I momentarily interrupted you there. My feed sort of
Yeah.
froze. I suppose last one for me is, you talked about, the Keane, for example, turning down, opting to link up with Ireland instead of going on a team holiday. Are there sort of challenges when you're coming into at the end of a club season, keeping lads fresh, keeping them fit, keeping them motivated?
It's a huge challenge. It really is. It's a huge challenge. Um, Look, I know Heimer made the decision that the championship players to give them time off, and I get it. I see it, because we've a few lads who would have been on the same type of calendar, and coming in, it's a challenge for them. But we sort of made a decision to get them in, to give them individual programs, because it's a relatively new group. If you're a senior team, I think, yeah, that's no problem. But because we're still finding our way with players and what have you, like, we needed to get them in. And look, fair play to look. The majority had no issues coming in. They had no issues doing their programs. It's just lads have picked up knocks, and whether it's that there's a lot of precaution as well with clubs over in the UK saying, look, we just need our player back. He's been nursing an injury for X amount of time, and we just need him to come back to pre-season fitting well. And look, we understand that. We get our medical teams link up with the club's medical teams. And I think the bigger picture for us all is that our players are fit, ready to go, ready to compete and play in September. But to get everybody here, it's it's a bonus. But if somebody has to miss out through injury, so be it. But yeah, it can be a challenge. Are the players, at their fittest? No, it's probably the League of Ireland boys are probably Ed McJanet as well would be, the ones that are quite ahead of the rest in terms of fitness levels. But quite a number of the boys trained with their first teams up to the 25th of May. So, okay, they haven't been playing, but they have been active up into the 25th of May, But and then you have the other stories where some players have been on holiday and they've come back to join in the camp. But while they were on holiday, they were ticking over with the program that was sent to them. So June's just it's a real challenging window, And I think June for me measures players' hunger, desire, and pride, because as I said to you, the easy thing to do would have been to turn it down because your teammates have booked a holiday and I'll go there. But for me, that says a lot about the individual, because I'd underline Jacob Devaney's come all the way from Dubai. He should be still in Dubai with his family, but when he got the call, he was straight over. You've got Keane Dillon who should be in Greece at the minute, but he decided to come and play with the 21s. And as I said, there's a story for all the group here. So, they're a fantastic group, and just looking forward now to the game tomorrow and the game on Tuesday against Qatar.
Savage. Thanks very much, Jim. Best of luck.
Thanks, man.